Ladies and gentlemen, it is Game 3 here of the Best of 3 series. Keep in mind this is single elimination. Mortality, although up 2-0 in the league, find themselves in a 1-1 series here versus SK here on LAN at the TSM Invitational.
Looks like we're going to see Zhang Kui banned away. Mercury answered back. Oh, I can't believe Mercury got banned. Okay, I like this.
I was just getting ready to say,
like
do you think we're going to see a Rom ban? Because he has been a significant impact in both the games that we've seen wins.
Him and Geb are the two characters that have won 2 times now. Nuwa gets banned. This is a Geb pick to me. There's no reason not to pick Geb. He won both games so far. He's the best guardian in the game. Stone Shield is ridiculous. Pick Geb, lock it in for Mortality, option to SK.
Well, the fun thing about Geb, too, is you don't actually have to feel rushed to get that blink out at all. And on the other side, option over to SK, it's going to be Apollo and Freya.
I like it.
Freya doing so much damage here for SK. They really like how she's fitting this as well. So then you have Apollo win there. We'll see if they get better luck with Apollo this time.
Right, well, this time he doesn't have to contend with Rama's ridiculous Astral Barrage damage. Mortality answers back with a pick of Nemesis and hovering on... Yes, locked into Ra. Ra doing pretty well so far. Nemesis doing half and half. Freya doing half and half, though Freya was definitely not on the weaker end of the last game. I mean, despite the fact that our team lost, man, she was real close to carrying it.
Yeah, and, you know, I think the really, really big thing here, as Athena is going to be locked in here for SK, I'm pretty sure if you're Mortality, you have to say you want a longer game just so Rock can be very, very effective.
So we're going to get a ban of, it looks like, On Her and Aphrodite. Now, On Her ensures that Mortality doesn't have one of the top hunters to pick from. And with Freya and Nemesis, or rather Mercury off the table as well, they're going to be forced into something maybe not super comfortable. Chalk gets locked in. I assume we're going to see a Neath here. I don't think we're going to see a Moose and Cobb again.
No. AMC's a thing of the past. Hopefully. Literally.
Well, we said that the last time we saw him picked in the SPL.
Stop it. Don't say things like that. I guess my question is, you know, I'm actually surprised I know, right? I'm actually surprised On Her didn't get picked up earlier with how much success both of these people have seen, and that's going to be Habois, and it is going to be a Neath.
That's a combo I like.
This is going to be awesome to see kind of how this is. And then Kukulkan. Now, here's some things, right? So that means that's going to be a Chalk solo lane.
Right.
And looking at it, Chalk's always going to do well on the solo lane, but the big thing here is Captain Twig.
Wait, no. That's a Chalk's up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, I know you hate Athena and you don't think she's a guardian, bro.
I keep forgetting.
Okay, I know you're not a big fan of it, but Kukulkan, when picked up by SK, that's actually Captain Twig's best. He has over 40 more gold per minute with Al, who is now Kukulkan. Right. So seeing him back in the game, that's going to be a very big factor. And we haven't seen this god in the rotation for a week. So what impact is that going to have on this?
Well, first off, people need to be aware of the 9 wins. I mean, that's important. As formerly Spirit's Tempest, they have to be very careful. That does way too much damage still. And, you know, if you're going to pick Athena, having the Kukulkan on the table is a massive, massive play because Taunt, you can actually drag people into the ultimate. So I like that. Not to mention, he's going to need a little bit of babysitting, and having that global ult presence from not only Athena but Apollo as well would be big. But to that same regard, Neath, having that global stun is going to be huge, considering there's a Raw Snipe, there's Crushing Wave, both things that are going to be really, really strong. And while Habois and Ra, two characters that are very easily picked off in team fights, they have the Geb for the control and the Stone Shield.
Yeah, well, you know, with Kukulkan as well, you know, you have to think both mid camps here for the Harpies are both up for grabs here for him. For SK has a great potential to secure both of those just because of how much damage he can actually push out here. As finally, we are going to get spectated up.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting all situated here. I'm excited to see how Kukulkan performs. Now, for those of you who maybe don't play the game at a super high level, a lot of the top players have complained that the camera pitch has been changed. And while, of course, it doesn't affect his moves outright, the way that you actually aim your abilities, it does affect the, I think, mindset and, the way the players would aim them in terms of, like, just their viewpoint. And most notably, I think MLC Stealth from the roster of Cognitive Prime had a little bit of trouble getting used to it. Whether or not he will be accustomed to it, especially considering the fact that he was not playable up until this tournament, as we did remove him. Just to ensure that there were no bugs or glitches that would be found. Hopefully not mid-tournament. We decided to not let him go. So to see him come in, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it is going to be awesome, but we're going to hop to a quick break here as we get everything situated. The game is going to be coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TSM Invitational. We are all situated here. This is going to be game number 3, jumping right into the action here already. In case you guys are not aware, this is going to be Mortality taking on SK Gaming.
So, not too much craziness coming out in the beginning here. We're just going to see, it looks like the Watcher's Gifts are online, Bumba's Mask. We do have one Heavy Hammer coming out from Maniac, of course. But otherwise, everything's pretty basic.
And Maniac actually choosing to go with 2 Sentry Wards here, as we do have a very early pause. We do have 2 Sentry Wards coming out of Maniac because now he is going to be a solo lane Chalk.
Right. I mean, Chalk has a lot of pressure. I mean, that's the whole point, is he can get himself to the back line as fast as possible and then use the Storm Call in the late game or even the mid game to try to do as much disruption as possible. Heavy Hammer in the early game is going to allow him to get kind of aggressive.
Now, why do you think Maniac would elect to go with the hammer instead and just the hammer with the wards instead of hammer and boots? Because that's kind of what we saw the Captain Twig do last game. Granted, he was also in the mid.
Excuse me 1 second. We get everything set up. Sorry about that.
There you go, buddy.
Oh, looks like I'm finally in. All right, we're together now. So it looks like bottom side, and not too much to worry about. It doesn't look like we have any threat of an invade. Athena was kind of just peeking over. Otherwise, it looks like we're going to have a pretty basic start here.
Yep, mid-camps both going to their respected side. Nothing crazy here from the jungle. We're not seeing the 3-man stack on the mid Harpies at all. Or actually, excuse me, Raffer is going to switch this up. We might see a much quicker blue buff here, which has kind of been the North American meta as of recently.
Right. I mean, they want to try to pressure this as fast as possible, get over to the blue buff. Fexus, was he standing in the... yes, he was standing in the heal. Looks like he did get some of his health back, not taking too much damage. Now, Twig in the early game is going to have much better clear potential than Fex. On top of the fact that he's not going to have that heal for another second or two. Yeah, there it comes out. He actually puts it onto his own creeps. A little curious here, considering that Captain Twig is going to blow through those archers easy peasy.
Yeah, Captain Twig, and I don't know how much these pros are used to going up against Kukulkan, but I played against him last night, and those tornadoes, whirlwinds, whatever you want to call it.
I like the new animation for Zephyr as well. I think it's pretty scary. I mean, it looks
it's intimidating to say the least.
It looks a lot more, I think, closer to how much damage it's supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That lightning around it. But Captain Twig having very little trouble so far pushing forward. It looks like Fex actually getting the better end of this push, though. Hitting level 3, though, Captain Twig in the next wave is going to have access to the level 2 whirlwinds and be able to blow these things up just fine.
Moving over to the solo lane here, Sayo actually playing Habois. Now, he has seen some luck in this. He's actually 1-0, and the one game we did actually see Sayo play, and he was very explosive. But the big question here is Chaos side being so heavily favored currently. Is that going to be a trend we're going to see here in this game?
It's possible. I mean, so far, we've seen Chaos win twice. In the SPL, it has a 62% win rate.
Yeah.
I mean, very, very strong. Right side, Maniac going to rotate back in as Sayo continues to throw some damage down. Now, Maniac just used the Thunder Strike, but with a short cooldown, his clear casting and that blue buff, I doubt that he's going to be too threatened as the next wave moves in. But Sayo is level 4 right now, but not really giving him access to too much more damage. You can see, given the fact that he hasn't used it right there, he does not have Atlas of the Yellow River, meaning he is saving for Water Cannon at level 5, trying to just push out as much damage as possible, though saving that damage right now might not be too effective considering the fact that he's not going to get a kill on Chalk.
Yeah, and Maniac actually is going to be able to aggress here, and you can just notice, look at how little damage it is, and Sayo is going to be able to get away here unless Maniac wants to dive. There's going to be some damage. Oh my god, first blood. Why Sayo turned around, only God knows.
I think he thought that Maniac was going to leave there. Sayo got way too aggressive, and SK's going to take a very welcomed first blood. Not to mention, this is the lane that probably wants it the most. Getting ahead of Habwa is the key.
And, well, not even that. Getting into Sayo early. We do have an engagement here a little bit in the bottom lane. Nothing crazy out of Frezzy and Moax, but that's it. That you don't want Sayo to die early.
No, definitely not. He's an emotional player. He rides very, very strongly on his emotions. He gets an early kill. He gets an early push. He plays much better than he does usually in the end game. If he falls early, he tends to make more manic decisions and plays a lot less safely. Like right there, I mean, he really expected to try to turn that around onto Maniac, and he got caught.
Oh, Frezzy a little bit late to the party here. SK is going to do some damage. Captain Twig does have to be careful. Raffer's going to be coming around the side. They're not going to be able to get this, and he's going to run into 3 members. SK zeros. There's so much damage. Captain Twig weak as well. In comes 9 wins, and he is going to be able to get out of here with no health.
Oh, my God. I wish we had a replay function. Because that was incredible. Let's first off, we'll talk about Freya in that regard. There was a big mess up from SK from the double hand. They were completely panicked. So much damage came out into zeros right there. But he gets up into Valkyrie's discretion as the Whirlweaver's coming, and then gives his mid laner enough time, the Kukulkan, to get in front of it. The stun comes out, and then boom, out of nowhere, we see Chalk show up looking for something, and then he gets a huge silence off, giving his team enough chance to get that mid laner out of there, keeping them safe, finding somehow another kill, and taking the mid camp.
Dude, the spirit of the 9 wins did so much damage to everyone. And it was perfectly placed, too. But the thing that's crazy is, again, that's like the story of these two teams. Both teams having a hard time converting multiple kills in these team fights. That was a 4-on-4 grouping with only one person going down.
You got to give it to SK, man. That was just beautiful teamwork, front to back. They really just they're playing a lot more cohesively than I think we're used to seeing them.
For sure.
Much similarly to how we saw them at the LAN event, SK is really coming together here, and they're playing a much different strategy and much different effectiveness than we saw when they played at the LAN. Now, Sayo doing the blue buff here, I'm very surprised to see Maniac let this go.
Vex is taking a lot of damage, doesn't get hit by the 9 wins, and now Zero's actually in a world of trouble here as now Raffer's going to back up. He wants no piece of Captain Twig. The Searing Pain only connecting with Badger. Badger actually able to come in there, just do a little bit of damage, but his ultimate's down, so Mortality is going to be able to take note of that, and it looks like they might engage again as she's going to miss the taunt.
Now, Sayo, despite the fact that he did die early and Maniac getting that kill, the rotation from Maniac getting the kill in the mid lane has put him actually pretty far behind. As you see, Sayo has already procced into level 8. We're going to see Maniac already using the Thunderstrike as well, trying to keep Sayo honest by keeping him back, throwing damage when necessary. Looking at the board, he already has the Boots 2 online, almost enough gold to finish him up about 200 away.
And looking at it, I mean, both hunters both having Dev's gloves. We're seeing actually, I actually like the fact that we're seeing beads 3 out of Kukulkan. Captain Twig making the right decision. I mean, it's very early. Normally, we kind of see that finished up way after Boots, but he's putting a lot of stock in that.
I think that's the 1v1 player enemy. He wants to get those actives online as fast as possible, increase his boxing potential, and given the fact that, Kukulkan has a ton of damage inherent in his kit between, the whirlwinds and the hurricanes and whatever we're calling them now, and the 9 winds and the zephyrs.
Well, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, I mean,
he
doesn't need the extra push from items as much. He can take this time to ensure that he doesn't get picked off. He can use the whirlwinds effectively to ensure that he can sustain and clear his lane effectively, and ensure that his team doesn't have to worry about babysitting him as much as they normally would.
This is crazy. SK is bullying them out. Frezzy's going to come in with the blink, and Zero's taking damage up into Valkyrie's discretion. Now Real's taking damage. In comes the 9 wins. No damage here. They're actually going to lose this. Ultimates have been blown. Frezzy's going to be taking some damage, but that's it. They actually...
Badger actually ults over to the right side. Sayo in a lot of trouble. No mana left. He's going to be picked up. I saw Badger charging it up. I look at the mini-map and I see that Maniac grouping again picks off the Habwa. Habwa's not a great character from behind. And, with that kind of damage off the board, Shockwave going to hit 3, and they don't actually manage to get that.
So close.
But, with that kind of damage not on the board right now, it's going to be really hard for Sayo to make a name for himself in the mid-game. Now, Habwa's a time bomb. Eventually, he will come online regardless. But if SK can end the game in a similar fashion to the first game, we'll never see any damage come out of Habwa at all.
No, God no. absolutely not. And that's the thing that's scary. So that's why I'm kind of surprised Raffer hasn't been catering over to a ball. Now, one thing to note, Raffer has picked Nemesis in all 3 games.
Right.
He's 1-1 with him right now, and from the order side of things, he hasn't seen any luck from it yet. Now, do you chalk that up to the fact that on Chaos side, Nemesis can get that speed buff and become much more of a factor?
I think I'm chalking that up right now to chalk.
No,
I mean, but seriously, Raffer normally would have great positioning and great control on a character who has limited escape, especially coupled with the fact that Habwa could have an opportunity to blow him up, get that Nemesis ult off, get those reductions on the protection, and then boom. But unfortunately, Raffer's rotations have not net him the worth that he's looking for. Yeah. He's 0-1-0 right now. They're down 1,000 gold, and he's taking a long time on his farm. Like right there, going to check the Gold Fury, passing up on some farm again. I mean, that's 8 seconds that he just lost, which may not seem like a ton of time. Oh my, dude, this character. Welcome back, Dragon.
So much damage. He actually has soul
right side. We're in some trouble here. Maniac does manage to go down to the, looks like the Crushing Wave World Weaver combination. Badger didn't quite get in front of it in time, so we're going to see a big drop there.
There's another grouping here. Frezzy's going to be taking some damage. Captain Twig's going to have 1. Reels is going to be there as well, and he is just going to be able to walk out of that. He gets his kill, rotates out. And, it's funny because Moex is like, oh, I kind of want a piece of Reels, but Apollo's going to win that boxing match, buddy.
Raffer taking some damage. Retribution going to go off. And there is the Swift Judgment as well. Looking for an opportunity. Nothing gained once again. A nice ult right there to ensure that he can just run himself out of there. Divine Judgment will be used. And Captain Twig in the mid lane with very limited mana is going to need some help on this push.
Yeah, and Fex is finally getting in here. I mean, the mid camp is gone. Reels is actually going to be still trying to figure out if he wants to engage on Moex every single time. I mean, they've been looking in each other's eyes for like 10 minutes, and none of them have been able to come out on top. So,
honestly, SK should be farther ahead. Now, if golds are worth about 300 on top of the fact that they did get First Blood, they're down about 50 gold. But you should consider the fact that at this point, they should be using the time where they're getting these kills more effectively. At this point, we should see somewhere between an 1,800 and 2,000 gold lead with a 4-kill advantage on top of First Blood, but they're not using their farm time effectively. They're running around the jungle too much. They're trying to bait too many kills out, and they're giving up free farm experience, which is unfortunate because despite the fact that they have a big kill lead, their actual lead is not as high as it should be.
Yeah. And Sio actually electing to go into the Bancrofts here, which will be online relatively soon, but I don't know if I necessarily like it. I think a Warlocks would have been better. He's going to be left on this island all by himself for a very long time in Habwa. That's going to work fine.
Right, but at the same time, like, Habwa loves to put himself in a position where he starts to get low in health, and then, of course, just go for the blow-up. And given the fact that it's a very, very cheap item... Oh, Crushing Wave! Still going to get silenced out, and now we're going to see pressure at the Gold Fury.
God.
Looks like SK took that one.
Yep,
Zero's getting low, but Raffer in some trouble. Stone Shield's going to come out. There goes the Athena ult. They're trying to work their way to Captain Twig, but this shouldn't be too much trouble. This looks like a wash.
Yep, Captain Twig's going to be able to disengage that entirely. They are able to secure the Gold Fury. Meanwhile, Chalk, he's going to be caught in the jungle. In comes a nice blink from Frezzy. He is going to be...
He's out!
Oh, no! The plays! Maniac trying to just run out of there.
He's done.
He's done. But
he's done. But look how much they had to use there. That was a World Weaver. That was a 4-man rotation, hot off the fact that they just lost the Gold Fury. They need to take this tower right now. Now, the one thing that Mortality has done very well comparatively to SK is when they have an opportunity to get something, they take it. Whereas SK generally takes their small victory and they kind of just let it rock for a bit. A much more a Japanese approach to meta where they kind of don't push their lead as aggressively, whereas or a more American or European rushdown we're seeing from Mortality is where you give them an inch, they take a mile.
And Captain Twig actually rushing that Book of Thoth right away. So he's got an initial power right away. He's going to have a little bit less sustain, but he's basically saying anyone who comes near me, I want to blow them up. I wouldn't be surprised coming up next if he gets a couple kills, I wouldn't be surprised to see a rod on him next.
That's true. But, with Book of Thoth actually coupling with his passive, he's going to maintain a massive amount of damage going into maybe the 18 to 20 minute mark. Now, he's sitting at about 400 gold himself right now, which is going to play well once he gets about the 900 mark, finishing up those boots. Looking at Fexes, he does have 1,500 in hand right now, so that'll give him a better opportunity. Now, they did a 4-man split of that mid camp on left. They're going to need to try to group up for the right ones as well, or they're kind of going to waste a little bit of experience there.
I think they're actually going to go with 2 people, or they're just going to leave it completely.
Strange.
They're going to rotate back and go for the red. I mean, they have the ward coverage there as well. There was no sign of it at all. But, I mean, giving Captain Twig the damage buff is never a bad thing, as Kukulkan is just going to do so much damage as is. But, yeah, that was rather unusual, to say the least.
Ping's coming out on the top side. I think they're trying to spot out Maniac. The buff still not up for about another 45 seconds or so. Left side, we're going to see more pressure coming into the tier 2 as Reels and Badger move forward. Now Moex 2 levels behind Reels. We're going to get a dive. This will force out the backflip here. Ooh.
Oh, he doesn't even have a chance. Finally, Apollo now is going to be able to hit this.
Sprints up.
Badger's going to be doing a lot of damage. Moex doing a good job dodging around. Minion's taking a lot of damage as well. Badger might have to finish this there. The dancing was good. Reel's finally able to get that. In comes Geb, but he's a little bit late to the party. Same with Raffer, who has still, for the 3rd consecutive time, built that Heartseeker as his 3rd item.
Yeah, he's looking for extra damage here. Again, it's curious to me. I wonder what he's thinking when he's going into this. Now, maybe he's thinking I can do a lot of damage with my ultimate, but Reel's not too troubled. Still has his ult as well, ensuring that if he needs to, he can use Across the Sky to put himself out of danger. Tower doesn't take too much damage, but they do find another kill on the left side, of course. Moex about to respawn, not having as much... I think success in this lane without that extra Rama damage, though he has found a kill with the World Weaver over in the right lane. He got an assist as well in the last team fight, but ultimately is starting to fall a little bit behind. He's at, let me see here, 6,800 comparatively to Reels, who's at 8,000.
That's nuts.
I mean, he has 1,500
and
in
look
hand.
At this. Look at this. We're seeing another Chronos pendant here out of Fexus here for
I love
Raw.
it.
That's this multiple times here, getting as many heals down as humanly possible, and plus, quicker Searing Pains on the line.
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly.
Hey, take it.
Not to mention, extra heals is so important.
Oh, it really is.
Especially as we're going to get into the next Gold Fury fight soon. It looks like that's going to spawn in about a minute or so. Given the extra sustainability, as long as his team doesn't stack up too much inside of Freya damage, that could play really strongly. Now, speaking of which, 9 wins. Captain Twig, and a very curious miss there. Fexes does have Aegis 1, but he could have been dropped into it before he activated. That was a very strange lack of communication coming out from SK.
Yeah, well, he still does have it online. He can drop that at any time. They do have control. And that's the one thing I've noticed about SK is that they've been managing to grab mid lane control every single time for the Harpies.
Yeah.
Every single time. Look at the difference in positioning just like 20 seconds ago. You saw all members of Mortality were back of like a huge margin. And they might contest for this, but if they do, they're just going to go.
Raffer forced to use Swift Judgment to get out of there. It looks like left camp is going to go freely to a 2-man grouping of Zeros and Badger. Right side going to spawn in about 20 seconds, maybe a little bit less. But Chalk has rotated over. It looks like they're going right for the Gold Fury.
Oh,
perfect
this is
timing.
Brilliant. Yeah, they're going to bait it. They're going to bait it out. They know they want to put an influence here on the mid Harpies.
Geb's nowhere in.
Finally, this is going to be it. Geb is finally going to be rolling in here. He's going to be very, very late. They do have it. He is going to come in. That's going to be a Cataclysm. A lot of damage going down, and no kills just yet. In comes 9 wins.
Oh, Twig actually gets picked off there by a great snipe coming out from Fexus. Zeros answers back quickly and goes down right afterwards, of course, from the combo coming out from Moex, who actually gave himself great positioning on the right side. Backflipping towards Badger. He needs a few more shots. Badger just trying to get away. He's going to use the taunt if he has it in just a second. Moex could be in some trouble. Reels rotates in. Stone Shield for the dive here. Actually going to deter. Dodges the Spirit Arrow. Gets pushed away. Frezzy, what are you thinking? Oh, but actually has an opportunity. Puts him right into Sayo, but Moex does drop the kill. Overall, it looks like we have a 1 for 3 in favor of Mortality, but they do drop the Gold Fury, still down about 400 gold.
They lose the Gold Fury. Demonic Grip now picked up by Zeros, so now Frey's going to get a little bit more beefy. But Real's still staying in here. Meanwhile, Chalk was hanging out all the way around the Gold Fury. He could have backed that entire time, but instead waited to see if he wanted a piece of the action. So I guess it's an even fight. Gold Fury for 3 goals.
See, my issue there was that Geb blinked in. He only caught the one person with the Cataclysm, but that doesn't spell the whole story of how effective that ult was, because it forced out an early Storm Call to stop the stun coming out onto Chalk. It forced 3 people otherwise in 3 different directions, one running towards the wall of red buff, one running towards the mid camp, one running towards the blue camp. And now this happened because, strangely, SK stacked up on top of each other. Melee range characters stacking, of course, on the Gold Fury, but the range characters stacking up with the melee, which is an old World of Warcraft don't. You never want to be on top of your friends.
I really want to see a shell come out of this game, and I mean, as you're looking at it, Mortality, the only one who could actually get the shell right now would be Sayo, and I'm willing to bet just about everything in my bank account that he's not gonna be picking that up.
I need an international phone right now.
Why?
So I can call Sayo and ask him to build this. I can make it lucrative for him.
Hey man, you want like $7 and a bag of depression?
I could do with a bag of depression.
I could too. It's not a bad thing.
So Reels right now is level 18. Far and away the highest. Actually, 2 levels ahead of the Kukulkan, Sayo, Moex, and Vexus, giving himself a great amount of control. Look at that build so far. I mean, he has almost 10,000 gold at this point. No one else is even in the 9,000s. 1,000 gold ahead of even his own teammates. And in hand right now has about 400. Now, if he goes into the Rage, he only needs about 800. If he goes into the Deathbringer, he's still looking at 1,250. But it's not going to take him long to get either number on board, considering how much pressure he's had. He's 3-0-0, 2 Gold Furies to the name as well.
Isn't it kind of funny how we've seen Pestilence get built? And I swear on my life, the only reason Pestilence gets built is because the tier 2 is so cheap for the good amount that it gives you.
Right, but to the same regard, I'm surprised to see we're not more bulwarks. Recent images have come out from the Chinese meta, and almost everyone is building bulwark. It's such
that Mercury bulwark. I was like, oh.
Dude, it's effective. I mean, it's a ton of health. It's a great amount of protection. Not to mention a 50% damage reduction for 1 second can be massive on characters that need to be able to escape. Whew.
That's a great pickup by Sayo, getting that Obsidian Shard.
Yeah, this is pretty early, but you can see there's a lot of defense coming onto the board here. Hide of the Urshin's already active. They have the Sovereignty, and then, of course, the Talisman as well is going to give him the potential to try to burn down someone like Badger.
Yeah, and, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a Void Stone coming out here soon, just because, that aura helps across everyone here. Both teams running 2 mages.
Left side, Moex actually getting the better of Reels there, despite there being an entire short sword advantage. That shows, and look how much damage they were able to put down. Not too many crits coming forward. And with that heal, Moex having a lot of control. Reels taking a lot of damage.
He's great. Back out.
Oh, and he has to over a ward. We just see zeros. Are we going to backflip? Not in time. He has the pressure.
Backflip's going to go up. Zeros. Will he take to this guy? So much damage. Look at this. The sprint actually making it very hard. Moex almost able to dodge it. In comes Raffer. Raffer's going to spot Zeros. The banish is not up yet. He's just going to wait for it. Great Cataclysm there by Deep Frezzy. So much damage coming down as now Badger is going to be there. In comes the Storm and 9 wins, and it is just chaos.
They used a lot trying to pick that Freya up. They didn't need a lot, however, to pick up Moex. Badger getting low, but not low enough. Fezix in a lot of trouble here. 1 shot from Reels to the back. Hot off the move's going to do it. A beautiful 4-for-1 trade off a great gank coming. SK has taken the lead in droves. 4,400 gold, 5,800 experience, puts them far ahead.
And Rio's getting that tower as well. He's so close to 12,000 gold. Meanwhile,
how much gold did I just say? I said 44. Suddenly they're up to 56. Wow. And look at this. Gold Fury respawns.
And so many people would look at this and be like, why is Reels taking death gloves, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
Stacks on that.
There's no reason for anyone else to tank it. Not to mention with Audacity, he'll never take damage here. He actually wound up healing himself overall from picking that up. A free 1,500 is going to put them over 7,000 gold, most of which was gained in the last 3 minutes.
Look at how brilliant SK is playing with their actives. Not only do we have a shell, but we have a creeping curse coming out here from Chalk as well. That's great synergy. When you look at their builds, you can tell they're all starting to work together. On the other side, it's like, okay, we have Frezzy who's going to kind of just hop in there, and then we have a bunch of escapes.
Yeah, I mean, and that's going to be a lot of trouble considering, I mean, they built 2 obsidian shards, which means they're looking for a lot of damage onto Badger. I mean, they're not looking for damage onto characters like Zeros, who isn't building defense, which means the obsidian shard's not going to give them as much effective damage. Something like Chronos Pendant would have been a lot more effective for Sayo at this point. Or maybe even, start rushing that rod.
Do you really need to build Chronos Pendant, though, on Habois when he's already ridiculous? Oh.
Knockups are a massive part of his kit, allow him to initiate, reinitiate, and then 25% off of 3 minutes. I mean, 2.25 seconds is a big deal.
Yep, and we have a Curse Blade too. Frezzy going to be building that into a Witch Blade. Great pickup there for him.
I agree.
It's going to really help them a
He stole it on the left side.
No.
Reels does manage to get it with them. I'm sorry, so beautiful right there. What a beautiful shot that was indeed. Reel's first person to hit level 20, sitting at almost 13,000 gold, and of course does have that Deathbringer online already. I assume, and I can't be 100% sure, but I assume the next pickup is going to be a Rage.
Oh, this is...
Oh, wow.
Look at this.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, look at this. There's going to be a slow rotation over here from Moex. They're not going to have their Hunter in the fight. And look at this. The Whirlwind just blocking it off entirely here. And now finally Frezzy's going to be pushing up. This is going to be an engagement here. Frezzy is going to go for it.
They actually have an opportunity to steal this away. SK does manage to take it. Nice Shockwave and Cataclysm coming out. Zero's doing a lot of damage as 9 Winds is going to miss. Sayo needs to get his ultimate and get some damage off. Actually, the ultimate is already on cooldown. Raffer's going to go down. This could be it for Mortality.
Yeah, Maniac forced Moex all the way out of there. Reels is able to get one on Vex's. Maniac getting one. That's going to be a double kill. They're not done yet. It is all up to one person. It's going to be Moex. They're just going to tank through this. He is in a world of trouble here. They are going to cut through this so fast, and then they're going to be rewarded with the Phoenix. They don't have to worry about anything until 26 seconds, as that's when the first person comes off the sidelines, which is going to be Frezzy, and he doesn't have Cataclysm.
They should go for it.
This is going to be tough. They should go for it.
This should be the win right here. 4th seed once again coming in as the bottom pick. SK not to be underestimated. Looks like they're going to knock out the top seeded and expected fan favorite to win, Mortality. SK goes on to finals.
Wow. SK doing exactly what they're supposed to do, man. They had their lead a little bit at first, but really, for me, it comes down to how well they work together. Like, there was never a time where I was like, okay, Mortality is looking very, very good. As soon as I looked at the actives and I noticed that everyone was kind of building for escapes or a little bit of protection on themselves, I knew that means Frezzy's just going to be leaving himself out to dry. That's going to be very, very tough. There's no follow-up.
Right. I mean, and all the while, I mean, we talk about Frezzy's build, again, opts away from sovereignty, meaning the teammates who didn't build into defense didn't have that extra burst or that extra control that they would normally have. Going into that last team fight, though, I think you mentioned it right away. Captain Twig had such a beautiful whirlwind place. It stopped them from coming in for so long, and by the time they got in, all eyes were really just immediately turned to Frezzy. Did he have the hand of the gods? Did he have that opportunity? He missed it. The Fire Giant gets taken, and bang, GG.
Yep. Well, I believe Hinderman does have an interview for us, so Hinderman, what you got?
Welcome back, everybody, to the TSM Invitational. What happened? Wait, you don't clap yourself. Clap the enemy team. Oh, you clap the enemy team. Okay. Well, as you can see alongside me is SK Reels here. Reels, how's it gone? Yeah, we had a good first game. Couple of throws in the second game, and then it was a good third game. So overall, it's a good first match. Good was the main word. Good. So, with how the first game went, let's just go for that. They picked him as a carp. You expect him as a carp pick there? Not at all. I don't know if he's been practicing it or if we're going to ban her, then he was going to pick it. I don't know, but yeah, he brought it out. Well, see how it went for him. I don't really need to explain it. I mean, yeah, it didn't seem to go well from game one, and like he came in 4th seed as well. That's what I'm saying. He came in 4th seed. Came in 4th seed at the ladder road as well. Yeah. You won that one? Feeling confident for the final? What, here? Yeah, I'm feeling confident. Yeah, I'm feeling confident for the final. Louder. Sorry. Yes, I'm feeling confident, yes. Awesome. It's good to hear that you are confident. So, going into the final, who do you expect to be facing?
It's hard to say. It lands a lot different from online. So it could be
TSM or Explosive. I don't know. They're going to have some good games. I can't say one or the other, honestly. They're both good teams at the moment. They're both performing well, so it's going to be some great games. I don't know who's going to go through. Awesome. Now, going back to the games, game 2, you know, you went behind. Ended up losing that one. It looked like, you know, first seed Mortality came out pretty strong after game 1. Yeah, I mean, they came out strong, but I think we made a lot of mistakes to put them in a position. So, yeah, it was kind of bad play on our part and good play on their part, which ended in us losing. So, other than that, first and third game were good. So, yeah, we learned from it though. Learn and move on. Well, congratulations for going through to the final. No problem. One microphone in this business is kind of hard. But anyway, guys, we'll be back with more interviews and such as time goes on. Next up, though, will be TSM versus Exposed Secrets, the other semi-final, after this short break.